So first off, we have to understand that if we're going to learn, we don't learn from your local rabbi. We don't learn from your average Joe. Even if your average Joe has a unique hormone system that allows him to grow a beard that's from here to the end of the room, that doesn't make anybody righteous. We learn from the Torah and our sages. Now, sages in this generation, previous generation, and so on, were called the Gdolim, like he called them. The Gdolei Ador. If you see the Gdolei Ador do something, that's something that you have a question about. If it's good, if it's bad, that's something you. But if you see an average Joe, even if that average Joe is a very nice guy, very learned, even knows a lot of Gemara by heart, we don't learn from him. Why? Because he is not the example that represents Judaism. He's not Da'at Torah. He's a person that knows some Torah, he maybe even a Talmid Chacham. But until it's conclusive that he's considered a Gadol, a giant among the generation, he's not the example that we make psak based off of. That's one. Second thing is, as I mentioned before, well, actually, last week, we don't learn from people. We learn from books. So, for example, many women that heard my shiurim about wigs and how we proved conclusively that if you're wearing a wig today, you are practicing avodah zarah. You're benefiting from idolatry, because over 90% of the wigs, real hair wigs that are in the world today, come from idolatry of India. Now, many of the women that listened to it, Baruch Hashem, many of them took off the wig, and Baruch Hashem, they now have a kosher kisui rosh, of a mitpachat or hat, something like that. But some that like their wigs more than they like God, they started creating excuses of why they're doing this and they do that, and so on and so forth. One of the most common excuses that women use, and sometimes their husbands, sometimes actually the husbands are worse than the wives. Actually, believe it or not, not sometimes, all the time, the husbands are worse than the wives. They come back to me and say, no, you must be wrong. Why? Because my Rebbe, my rabbi, his wife wears a wig. The rabbi's wife, and the rabbi's Talmid Chacham, the rabbi's tzaddik, the rabbi's great, the rabbi's this, or there was some big rabbi from the previous generation, and his wife wore a wig. So what, you're saying they're all idol worshippers? I'm not saying they're idol worship. I'm saying that, first of all, that they're benefiting from idolatry. It's something completely different. Second thing is you have to look at the Gemara in Yerushalmi. Yerushalmi talks about how do we learn? How do we learn? One of the people says, look, the rabbi's wife is doing such and such. Gemara says, you don't learn from the rabbi's wife. You learn from what's written in a book. If it's written in a book, you learn from the book. You don't learn from what? Why? Because she has a yetzara. She has an evil inclination. So yes, she may be righteous everywhere else, but this, she's falling for it. Same thing with people. You see that the rabbi knows a lot of Torah, he does a lot of mitzvot, he does a lot of chesed, but he's doing something wrong. I don't know, maybe he decided to shake a woman's hand that technically is inappropriate for a Jew. He decided that he wants to go have a drink with a couple of his students at a bar, even though there's women there. Okay, that doesn't make him the worst person on earth. It's a sin nonetheless, but you're not going to say, oh, I saw my rabbi at a casino, and therefore I'm allowed. No one's going to rationalize this. Third point and final is what I mentioned today, which is that, again, there's a significant difference between marijuana and tobacco. The difference is that although tobacco is drastically worse for you, health-wise, drastically worse because of all the poison that they put in it, it does not alter your state of mind to the same extent that marijuana does. And that's the biggest isur, that's the biggest sin when it comes to marijuana. It's not that God cares less whether you smoke something or not, whether it's tobacco or it's plastic or you decide to take the glass and make it into a cigarette. No one cares. It's that you're not allowed as a Jew to ever alter your state of mind because you are obligated from the 10 commandments, the first commandments, Ani Hashem Elokechem, I'm God that took you out of Egypt. You are obligated as a Jew to always be prepared to meet your maker, to talk to your maker, to talk to Hashem. You cannot talk to Hashem drunk. You cannot talk to Hashem high. And that's why Arav Moshe Feinstein, Psak La'alacha, almost 60 years ago, that anyone that alters their state of mind intentionally by the use of marijuana is considered a ben sorer umore, which in English means a wayward child, which we would give him a death penalty. That was what the Gdol Ador said. What any rabbi in the world today says is irrelevant. Why? No one can compare to the shoes, not the whole person, the shoes of Rav Moshe Feinstein. No one. So we go by previous generation rabbis. That's what he says. Finished. Arguments over. Now you can go to your local Chabad or Breslev or Orthodox or Modern Orthodox or Reform Orthodox or Veshmor, whatever they call it today. All the different things in the world. And I'm sure you'll find some guy that calls himself a rabbi and says, no, this guy's crazy. He thinks he's Pinchas. He thinks this. He thinks that. No, come. Well, give me a drag. I'll smoke with you. You know who says this, right? Dror Kasuto calls himself a rabbi. Rav Dror. Famous speaker on YouTube. He goes to different people's houses and tells them all types of sins to do. He tells people, what? Smoking marijuana, it helps you study Torah, mitzvah. If it helps you study Torah, mitzvah. Not only tells people to smoke marijuana, he tells you to smoke before you study Torah. Your wife doesn't want to go to the mikveh, it's okay, you can be with her anyway. Your wife doesn't feel like going to Shabbat, she wants to go to the beach instead, give her a ride. That's what he tells her, but he calls himself Orthodox. So you want to listen to those people? Enjoy. He has Gehinom, and you'll have it also. You want to listen to what the books say? You want to listen to what the Gedolei Ador say? It's a different story. And that's what we always have to verify. Have to verify, where does it say this? Why does it say it? How do they arrive at this conclusion? And you'll see that the Torah makes all the sense in the world if you're looking for the truth. But if you're looking for an excuse to justify your actions, I promise you, with 100% guarantee or your money back, you will find somebody on YouTube to justify whatever evil you want to do. You want to murder 6 million people? I'll give you a documentary that will convince you it's a mitzvah. I'll give you a documentary right now that will convince you, by the time you finish the documentary, you'll be convinced it's a mitzvah to kill 6 million people. Why? It's a documentary about Hitler's life. I watched it. If I wasn't a Jew that follows mitzvot, I'm telling you, I'd probably become a Nazi. I watched it, I'm telling you. I'm that serious. You start looking at his life. You see what he did. You see what he says. He's so passionate. So exciting. Wow. At the end of the documentary, it's 3 hours. I mean, it took me many, many months to watch this whole thing, because I can't watch the whole thing. You go crazy. But anyway, after a while, you finish this whole thing. It's like you sympathize. It's like, maybe he's right. And it's like, what are you talking about? You start looking. You're starting to say, where? Huh? Who said that? You think Hitler's in a room? He says, maybe he was right. Maybe he did. Why? Because you watch so much propaganda garbage that it infiltrated into your mind. Next thing you know, you're convinced. This is what happens today. Why do you think kids, once a week, on the average right now in America, it's 1.2 times a week. Meaning it's more than once per week, there's a school shooting. How come this doesn't happen in any other country? No other country in the world has this statistic. No other country in the world has a statistic of 1.2 people going to a school and shooting people. Why is the sophisticated, the rich world, why do they kill a bunch of people? Why are teenagers losing their mind, going to school, start shooting a bunch of innocent people? Why? I have a hunch. It's called video games. Second hunch, movies. Third hunch, the type of environment they live in. You combine all of those three, by the time a kid is 13, 14 years old, he's probably murdered about 2 to 3 million people on a screen. He's become desensitized to human life because of so much blood that he saw on the screen that he thinks it's a video game. And that's what the shooting was. I think it was in Australia or some other country a few months ago. He actually videotaped the whole thing, making sure that his camera was positioned like you would see it on a video game. And he actually put the whole thing on Facebook. And I think he killed maybe 50, 60 people, something like that. 6 people. Why? You see, it's for video games. Point being, Rabotai, is that if you put enough junk into your head, eventually you will turn into junk. If you put Kedusha into your head, you put good things into your head, eventually you'll turn into good. Kedoshim tiyu ki kadoshani. You be holy because I am holy. How can you become holy? Start with allowing only good things to enter your mind. Stop the junk. This takes a little bit of training, a little bit of willpower, but I promise you, it's for your own good.